Okay, hello and welcome to today's event, everybody. I'm Jason Gumpert from msdynamicsworld.com. Thanks for joining. I am pleased to be able to welcome John Skandar and Steve Reed from Edgewater Fullscope, as well as a special guest, Mike Ehrenberg, Microsoft Technical Fellow, here at today's event on Process Manufacturer's Roadmap to Dynamics 365. As we get started, please know that you can use the chat or the Q&A that you should see to the right of the slides to ask questions at any point. We will try to save a few minutes at the end for those. And without further delay, we are going to start things off. Please allow me to welcome John Skandar to begin here. John, I'm going to open up your phone line.
Hi there. Thank you very much. Hi, I'm John Skandar, and I would like to thank everyone on the phone for joining us, and I'd like to thank Mike for helping out with presenting some of the information for Dynamics 365 for our, and how we specialize in the process manufacturing space. As you can see, Mike is a technical fellow and a CTO for Business Applications Platform and Intelligence, and a longtime colleague in the process world, as he also has, like us, heritage in this space before Microsoft. And to finish off will be Steve Reed, who is our VP of Sales and Marketing for Fullscope. The next slide just talks about, we've been in the Microsoft business for 12 years. We used to do ERP before that, but this is really just to show the audience that we've been around. We have lots of AX customers. We do both AX and CRM, so you see we have lots of CRM. And from try to do all things Microsoft, AX, CRM, business intelligence, and cloud, Azure, and help our customers as we go through this presentation with the full suite of Microsoft technology to implement in the ERP space. And you'll be able to see that, we've been Inner Circle, which is basically a top partner around the world, the top 1% or so, and we've won many accolades for Partner of the Year, specifically around manufacturing, and we focus on manufacturing customers, both for ERP and CRM. And the next slide is just to illustrate a few, as I try to do this. Here we go. Next slide is just to show some logos of customers in the big process manufacturing, the big three. There's obviously some hybrid around food, chemical, pharma, and on the extreme right you see some different logos there that are would have some process type functionality in their business, but are not pure process, could be discrete end items. And you'll see some logos that are also where we've done both AX and CRM for these customers. These customers can range from single site local companies to international multi-site. Alt could be, I don't know, they have thousands of users of both AX and CRM, and in about 50 countries around the world. So from simple single-site manufacturers to worldwide enterprise, multi customers. And then I will pass in. That was a quick overview of Fullscope and our customers, and I will give it up to Mike.
Thanks, John, and thanks everybody for taking the time to join today. It's really exciting for us to have the opportunity to talk about the work that we've been doing and the recent announcements around Dynamics 365, specifically here in the context of process manufacturing. So let me start by just talking about a few of the things that we see in the market that are really driving the work that we've been doing and kind of the inspiration for what we've done with Dynamics 365. So the first thing is that we're seeing just a tremendous acceleration and really a tipping point around cloud adoption. And when we brought Dynamics AX to the cloud, honestly, our expectations were that people would be very happy to know that a cloud option was there, but that there would be just a continued focus on on-premise and a reluctance to move mission-critical workload like ERP to the cloud. And quite honestly, we've been seeing just the opposite. We've been seeing rapid adoption of our cloud offer with great success, but across all geographies, across all industries, and including very much around manufacturing. And I think that what we've seen is that the ability for us to deliver in the cloud in a stable and repeatable and quickly adaptable way is really helping to accelerate that. The second thing is that increasingly we're seeing that the business is driving the decision process and the budgeting as much as IT, and that there's a tremendous shift there. And it's causing us to invest significantly in terms of making sure that the products are discoverable quickly by business leaders and that they're able to see the products as they fit their business without requiring a whole bunch of work from IT up front. And I think some of the things that we've done around AppSource and being able to get specialized solutions like, for example, what Fullscope has done around process manufacturing directly deployed into a cloud for a trial is really in response to that trend. Obviously, we always talk about finite resources and the criticality of having solutions that are highly productive. And I think you'll see as you look at the products, real progress in that area, both from the connection between the productivity tools of Office 365 and now the business solution of Dynamics 365, but also things like built-in training mode directly in the product that lets you bring new users up to a state of proficiency and productivity incredibly quickly. And I think the other thing that we've seen is that technology is changing with increasing speed, and what our work around Dynamics 365 and the cloud is allowing us to do is to get that technology change into users' hands much more quickly and really bring them the benefits. And I just sort of cite one example in the Dynamics 365 release this fall. There's a new mobility capability in the Dynamics 365 for operations that lets you basically take any part of the application and without writing code, with a few clicks, make that function available on people's mobile devices, whether those are Windows or iOS or Android. No Galaxy Note 7s, please. But that's a feature and function that we're just adding, and it will be in all Dynamics 365 for operations customers' hands, within days, weeks, months, not the sort of typical long update cycles that we've seen in the past. So it's a huge change in terms of being able to take advantage of the technology change across the industry, across Microsoft, and get that into users' hands even more quickly. We made our announcements about Dynamics 365 a couple of weeks ago, and the feedback from analysts has been tremendous. You'll see a couple of quotes here from Rebecca Wedeman of Nucleus Research, from Josh Greenbaum, talking both about the power of these releases, from a competitive point of view versus companies that can only offer either CRM or just ERP, but also in terms of the fit to what users really need, and letting users address the full business process across their company, sort of not constrained by the silos of what we typically called ERP and CRM in the past. I think the other huge thing to notice is that the name change to Dynamics 365 is really significant at Microsoft, and to kind of bring it into the same conversation as Office 365, which is one of the sort of one of the central brands of Microsoft, and that represents kind of recognition of the progress that we've made with the products and with the business, but also the work that we've put into connecting the two worlds, so that people can actually get access to the power of the business applications right from within the productivity tools where they do their work. So sitting in Outlook, looking at a mail from a customer, and being able to see information about that customer from the business application right at your fingertips. Let's talk a little bit about kind of what we think is unique about Dynamics 365, and just for context so that everybody understands, in the enterprise space, what we did with Dynamics 365 is really bring Dynamics CRM and Dynamics AX together, and for customers that are using the cloud versions of those today, CRM Online, Dynamics AX, with the fall update, they will be running Dynamics 365, and they'll see the name change in the upper left-hand corner. It is the normal fall update to those two services, and then they'll start to see a significant new set of capabilities light up as part of those fall releases. A big thing that we tried to do is really let customers start with just what they need. If they don't need, for example, on the CRM side, everything from sales through customer service, field service, and project service, they can start with just part of that, and then add things as they need it. Second, as I mentioned earlier, the connection between the business application and the productivity tools to really empower employees to get more done in the way in which they naturally work. We are increasingly investing in intelligence built into the applications, and whether that's around things like demand forecasting or product recommendations in a retail environment or next best actions in a sales or customer service environment. We're taking advantage of Microsoft's huge investment in machine learning and big data and analytics and bringing that right into the Dynamics 365 applications. And then, as we've talked about a bunch of times from a cloud point of view, our ability to be nimble and have the systems be adaptable and grow quickly is something that we're able to do with great capability. So as I said, what we're really doing with Dynamics 365 in the enterprise is bringing together CRM and ERP and kind of erasing the boundaries that existed between those. There's some really cool animation that should be here on this slide as that sort of transforms to a kind of almost James Bond movie beginning, and I wish you could see it. Maybe when the next one of these conferences is done with the Skype broadcast tools from Microsoft, we'll be able to show you that. But the idea is that Dynamics 365 represents the functional capabilities across all areas of the business, operations, field service, sales, marketing, finance, project service, and customer service. We've done, the whole idea is that each of these apps delivered in the cloud is specifically built to allow you to accomplish those functions, to ensure that those are done, again, with a tremendous connection to the productivity environment, with intelligence and adaptability built in. One of the things that we've done is to invest in unifying the user experience across the products. Historically, there were significant differences between Dynamics CRM and Dynamics AX. So here, you're looking at Dynamics 365 for sales, so that would have been CRM, and focus on the top navigation from what we call the little 9 boxes on the left that we call the waffle that lets you navigate, for example, the Office 365. We now add Dynamics 365 for operations, so that's what was AX, and you can see a tremendous similarity in the top navigation and even in the overall look and feel. And even in our small business focused product, which was Dynamics NAV or Madeira, we've brought the same navigation and basic look and feel to the product. We've also introduced a new landing page for Dynamics 365. So if you go there, you get access to information and sign up and trials across all facets of the product. And really, this is the idea of bringing the starting point of bringing together the Dynamics 365 family. We've also introduced very innovative new licensing models that let you license, if you want, only an individual app, or what we call plans that actually give you access to functionality from what would have been multiple applications in the past. So making it easier to look at everything a user does, and particularly as their business process, as business processes change, and maybe now somebody has to do something that previously was considered sales, making it easier for them to have access to whatever they need in a very economical way and a very simplified licensing scheme. And then we've introduced a very, very aggressively priced team member license that should make it easy for you to bring the power of the system to more and more users across the company. So quite a bit of work. It's not just a name and a brand change, but work to bring user experience together, or work under the covers to actually drive integration out of the box so that the whole prospect to cash process is connected, and then very, very innovative new licensing schemes. All of this is delivered as part of an overall offer for businesses that we think only Microsoft can do. That starts at the bottom with the power of our cloud and the global investment that Microsoft has to make that cloud available with capability, with security, with trust, with tremendous scale, as well as meeting all of the various regulatory requirements for data sovereignty around the globe. On top of that, solutions, Office 365 and Dynamics 365 that bring productivity and business process together, as well as all of the rich services like Power BI, Cortana Intelligence, and our IoT platform. I think one of the things that we see is Microsoft is the only company that brings that combination of investment in a raw cloud platform, all of the advanced services, and finished applications like Office 365 and Dynamics 365. And being the only vendor that brings all of that to market, it's helping us to do differentiated things, do them more quickly, and do them at very favorable costs. So with that, that's kind of a quick summary of what we introduced. In order to focus us back on process, I'll turn it over to Steve Reed and let Steve from Fullscope take it from here.
Okay, super. Thanks, Mike. And John, thanks for getting this kicked off. And as Mike was talking and talking through Dynamics 365 for sales and for operations, and we look at for process manufacturing in general, absolutely, but especially around the process manufacturers, complexities that are in the business world today that they're seeing, the pace of change that is taking place, and that change taking, whether it's the globalization, compliance that companies are having to adhere to, the customers and demands that customers have, and wanting to work more closely with customers. And then just in addition to the complexities of the business where you're blending and mixing and you've got different formulas and recipes that you're trying to adhere to, and maybe they're different based on the geo that either that you're manufacturing in or that you're selling to. And so as we look at those challenges, and then as we also look at, what are some of those characteristics of companies that are best in class? And so what we're seeing from customers, what we're hearing as we talk to others that are in industry, is that the best in class process manufacturers, many of them they are making those investments in manufacturing execution systems. Mike touched on with Dynamics 365 and just the enhanced business intelligence, the Cortana analytics, the IoT, and just bringing all of that and making that not so much of an add-on, but really having that integrated within the overall solution. And so that's definitely the ability to easily get to that meaningful data and information that allows companies to make really timely business decisions, is really key. Again, just being able to make sure that they're staying compliant, full compliance and traceability throughout their process. And then even on the integration side, being able to have the systems talk. And so even just further eliminating, silos that may exist within the business so that there's more transparency across. And so as we see those requirements and what companies are looking at from our side, from the Fullscope side, and if I can get there we go. From the Fullscope side, how we're looking to address the challenges and to help companies that are looking to be the best in class and to move forward. And so working within the context of Dynamics 365, so not looking to add on top, but really looking to leverage what's already there and to extend that out further to help meet regulatory and compliance requirements, visibility of their processes, and so just helping expose those and giving greater visibility throughout the company. But in some cases, it's even extending that to vendors and to customers. All of that in a very secure manner. Just being more responsive to market demands, and again, I mentioned earlier with globalization, just being able to be more responsive and more timely in that. And so some of that just being able to, as you think of kind of the old school ERP, that was the effort that it took to go from where you were to where you wanted to be. And so looking to make that a little bit less painful, a little more nimble, a little faster time to value in terms of what you're able to do. And so as we look at that and building within the Dynamics 365 environment, Mike had shown earlier the graphic here at the bottom. So again, just kind of building on that, with the Microsoft App Source, that allows for partners like us to come alongside Microsoft and to take these areas that we know well and to be able to extend out the investments that you're making with Dynamics 365 and just to help tie that out further. So we've got three solutions that are there today in the App Source. There'll be more that come, but Edge for AX is a solution that we've had for a little while now with AX 2012. We've made that available now in a cloud, through the cloud and through the App Source. That just helps manufacturers across the board, but it is geared more towards process manufacturing. And then a couple of our Express solutions that are cloud-based, that they do help by being in a templated implementation approach. So it does help get that time to value, help you experience that a little bit quicker, and again, obviously the food that's more focused to that CPG space, chemical, the Chem Express, and then next up would be for the life sciences space. And so there we go. So when we look at these templates, it's really taking the best practices approach, being able to have that already built out, already delivered to you as our team comes on site and begins working with the customer's team, and having these process flows, formula management, catch weight, quality, potency, lot management, having that already already built out, having task guides that have already been recorded. If you're familiar with AX, you know that the task recorder is a really powerful tool that's been part of AX for a while, and so it continues to be enhanced, continues to be added to, and so having some of these task guides already developed and prepared so that your team's able to sit down, go through from a training standpoint. It could be used up front as you're getting your team ready, but it can also be used as you're later down in the implementation, ready to really deploy it out to the masses, to be able to use these task guides that have already been developed to help get that information out to the end user. Obviously, like in previous instances, you can go in and augment those, make updates where you need to, but you're going to start out with task guides that are already pre-built and that are ready to roll. And so what we're seeing is our customers are able to just more quickly get off the ground and get running with these, able to more quickly begin seeing their business modeled out to where they can really envision what their business will look like in the Dynamics 365, AX, and now Dynamics 365 for operations, and then more, ultimately just get to that go live stage to where they're up and running and able to have their business in that new system and able to transact more quickly. And that's obviously what the key is. So as we think through that, a couple of examples from our customer base, and these are just customers that we've had over the past 4 or 5 months. A couple of customers that are highlighted here: a chemical manufacturer, a chicken processor. So obviously very different in terms of what their end products are, but some very similar challenges that they were looking to address. The chemical manufacturer, they do have 12 U.S. facilities. They have several in Latin America as well as in Europe as well, and then a couple in APAC. And so, their drive and the reason for looking for a new system was really being driven by transforming their business. And so they had already made the decision that they wanted to, rather than being a company who operates in many different countries, they really wanted to become a global company and a global player. And so that mindset necessitated a shift in their solution. They wanted something that really gave them the visibility that they wanted. And one of the things that they were excited to see as they saw the Microsoft investments in the cloud, the ability to more quickly deploy, especially once their initial implementations are done, the ability to roll out to the other locations, more quickly. Was something that they really gravitated to, and so that's something that they're taking advantage of now. They were actually able to use the Chemical Express and the pre-built templates to just help them get off the ground and get moving a little quicker than what they had expected to, and so that's been a real positive. The chicken processor, obviously a very different business, very different demands that they have. And in their case, they'd actually already done some work as they evaluated and prepared for moving to a new ERP system. And so they had done some internal just number crunching to evaluate, does it make sense to keep ERP as something that they control internally and that they have amassed there, or do they leverage the cloud? And so they were really already sold on the advantages that the cloud gave, not only from being nimble and able to more quickly respond as they had opportunity to expand and to grow into new territory, but also from a security standpoint, just the flexibility that the cloud provided to them, and more importantly, being able to really focus all of their energies, all of their work on their business. And so they're really not in the IT business. They're in the chicken business, and they wanted to be more singularly focused there. And so their IT team, that they have that same team today, they're just more focused on really helping the company know how to take the data that's being generated and put it in a meaningful way, deliver it in the right way, so that they're able to make the right decisions in the right time. They've also, at the same time that they began deploying AX or Dynamics 365 operations, they also went with Dynamics CRM and are looking to deploy that out to their sales team, both internal as well as the field sales team, that'll be able to help them just stay closer to their customer and to be able to be more responsive to their customer. And then the final example that I have here is for one of our customers. They've actually been on Dynamics on AX for a number of years, maybe 8-10 years that they've been on Dynamics on AX. And so they've actually made the move to the cloud, to AX in the cloud. Now, I guess next Tuesday, officially being Dynamics 365. And so for their business, it was really just, again, from a cost standpoint, they really saw the value that they were getting from hardware, the software, the security. Obviously, there's growing concerns there, and they just did the math and were able to evaluate that it was a good move for them to be able to better leverage the software just being provided to them. Mike talked earlier about not worrying about what application am I in, but just letting employees get in and do their work. And so that's what they saw. And so they've actually been undertaking that move to Dynamics 365 and are in the process of doing that and working with us as they do it. But they've actually done quite a bit of that work on their own and are finding that migration process they've been able to do in conjunction with us and working with the team from Microsoft to help achieve that. So customers are definitely seeing that value that the cloud offers to them, and just being able to move there, and also where the templates for the chemical company, the food customer, being able to more quickly get to that value and being able to get to a go live standpoint. And so as you think about, because I know we've got some folks on the phone or online with us that are probably current AX customers, similar to our third example there. And so you may already have great knowledge about AX, and your systems are up and running, and so just thinking through that process, and we understand Microsoft does that it's not just a one-size-fits-all, that there'll be different considerations that you need to factor in. But definitely, thinking through from an application standpoint, so depending upon which version of AX you're currently running, that you would evaluate that. You may have, if you've got one of the earlier versions, like an AX 2009, and if you're running there, there may have been some gaps at the time that you filled with some customizations. And now as you evaluate, you'll find that those gaps, either they're not there or they're not as large, where maybe you don't need those heavy customizations that you once did. Being able to take and to just clean up the data, have that common data model that's going to be there with Dynamics 365, and again, just making it easier to see across your business the data that you need at the right time and deliver it in the right way to make key decisions in a timely fashion. And then you get into the infrastructure side. And again, it's not just, hey, I'm looking at it's a software and a software decision, but there's other components that come into it. So it's the hardware, it's the infrastructure needed to support the hardware and to support that environment. And so just looking at, what's the right mix. It may be that you need a little bit of a hybrid approach. So you may have some of your of your enterprise systems that do stay on-prem. You may have others that it makes sense to go cloud with. And so just evaluating that. And then also, obviously, from a licensing standpoint, Mike touched on the new team worker license that's available, and just making that really more economical to expand your use of systems that you've invested in. So on the AX side or CRM, that's now Dynamics 365 for sales. So just being able to expand that and leverage the investments that you've already made so that you're getting an even greater use from those. And so, think through those. Obviously, from our side, Fullscope, we have a team that is dedicated to our install base and to the AX install base. And so this team operates outside of our normal services team. So rather than being tied down, day after day at an implementation site, they're really working remotely, working with our install base, but also with the AX install base to help guide through this process of evaluating, what's the right upgrade path for you to take, and what's the right timing to be able to evaluate that. And so be happy to talk with you about that. When that time's right for you. And so the my final piece to just touch on here. See if there we go. So the final thing that I have to tell you about are really just our next two webcasts that are part of this whole series. And again, it's really about just introducing you to Dynamics 365 from various points of view. And so we wanted to start out by letting you hear from John and from myself from Fullscope, but also obviously to hear from Mike Ehrenberg speaking from the Microsoft viewpoint. On November 11th, so just in a couple of weeks, we'll have an analyst from Aberdeen, and so Nick will be on with us, and we'll share the perspective of an analyst as they look at Dynamics 365. And so we had some quotes earlier as part of this, but just to hear from someone who's really outside that third-party view at Dynamics 365 and how they see that fitting and working in the marketplace. And then on the 18th, more so than me telling you customer stories, we'll actually have some customers who will be on with us that they'll share directly with you about their experience, about moving from on-prem to cloud, what some of the factors were that influenced their decisions. And so that'll be on the 18th, and we'd love to have you join us for either of those, or better yet, to join us for both of those. And so those will be coming up here over the next few weeks. So that's it from my side. Jason, let me hand things back over to you now.
All right, thank you, Steve. So we are going to take a few questions now as time permits, and some of them have already been coming in. First one as asking about, is there new functionality in Dynamics 365 for operations from AX 2012 or beyond AX 2012?
Do you want me to take that one?
Yeah, sure. There's a new functionality in the new product.
Yeah,
if that's what I understood.
Am I on mute here?
Mike, do you need to control the slides or anything?
There you go.
No, I'm good. Sorry, I thought I was on mute. So there's a significant amount of new functionality beyond AX 2012. Obviously, there's a lot from a technical point of view in terms of the new HTML5 user experience and the in-memory BI and Power BI that's the embedded BI experience. the mobility platform that I talked about earlier that lets you basically access any part of the app through a mobile device. You heard Steve talk about things like Task Recorder, which we had in 2012, but we've taken that to a new level in Dynamics 365, including this built-in training mode, where you actually get a prompt that moves around the screen telling users what to click or what information to fill in. It's a great way to bring new users up to speed. There's also significant functionality enhancement across the application. So there's quite a bit in this release in finance for people that are operating across multiple companies. There's significant advances in warehousing capability, and as well as functionality in retail and in manufacturing. We have a strong roadmap moving forward as well, where we'll continue to build things out. The spring release, in fact, will bring more capability in manufacturing and warehouse, as well as significant progress in the sort of core HR and employee self-service and manager self-service functions. So yes, there's a significant amount of improved functionality in Dynamics 365 for operations.
Okay, and there are a couple questions on upgrades, asking basically what the considerations are for choosing to upgrade from earlier versions of AX to Dynamics 365, AX 2009, AX 2012. Can you talk about some of those considerations?
Sure. So one of the things is just sort of thinking about which customers would be more likely to be ready for upgrade. First, we decided to focus on AX 2009. So with the Dynamics 365 release this fall, there are a set of data migration tools from AX 2009. In general, the way we think about things is there was very material change in the application and the way we model legal entities and things like that, moving from 2009 to 2012. So what we want to see people doing from 2009 is actually do a new implementation on Dynamics 365 and then use the tools to bring your key data forward, so customers, products, suppliers, et cetera, as well as initial balances and inventory positions. We've been working on those tools with early customers for the last few months. And so we have pretty good experience already behind us, and we'll be releasing those with the Dynamics 365 update this fall. And then in the spring, we will introduce the Dynamics 2012 to Dynamics 365, AX 2012 to Dynamics 365 upgrade tools. And those are a more traditional and complete upgrade because of the consistency between the way things look in 2012 and Dynamics 365. So there will be an upgrade option. There's extensive tooling to help with analysis of customizations that have been done, as well as the full data upgrade. And again, we're already starting to work with early customers on that. I think one of the other things that will be an interesting option for 2012 customers in the spring, following on that Dynamics 365 model of being able to use just what you need, one of the areas that is much improved moving from 2012 to Dynamics 365 is the HR functionality, employee self-service, and manager self-service, just the user experience alone, as well as the built-in training, just a number of things that make that outstanding. And we'll be offering as well an integration is part of the roadmap to connect HR, employee self-service, and manager self-service on Dynamics 365 with AX 2012 on premise. So another option that exists there is as a way to sort of get used to Dynamics 365, as a way to get experience in the cloud and get comfortable, potentially move the HR, employee self-service, and manager self-service functions to the new software first, keep AX 2012 in place for your, for example, manufacturing and finance, and then upgrade those later. So that's just a quick view of what's coming relative to upgrade.
And from a full scope perspective, we have been invested a lot to understand the upgrades, and we have a team that is there to specifically try to help our customers upgrade as, I'll say, efficiently as they can to AX7, and as well as we know many times customers had, I think Steve mentioned that, a lot of modifications or enhancements, and how can we try to use our knowledge to not carry forward what is not needed, use Core AX, and just give a better upgrade experience as we go forward. So we really have a dedicated team to try to upgrade, get our customers to the latest version of the technology of AX7. Next question.
Okay. What are some of the areas that are being looked at for new functionality over time in the Dynamics 365 for operations?
Mike, I think you mentioned some of that, but do you want to just, I don't know if you may have addressed them all in your last response, but if there's something else you want to add.
Yeah, no, I think I talked about a fair amount. There's, as I said, right now a lot of focus on making finance users much more productive when you're running multiple legal entities. Significant continued enhancement of the warehouse and distribution capabilities. I mentioned the HR and employee self-service, manager self-service work. And I think the other thing that I would point to is the thing that was mentioned earlier, which is the focus on intelligence. And so we have analytics, content packs coming out across the application. So I know that there's several of those in the initial Dynamics 365 release, and those will continue to come. So more charts, more analytics, more KPIs. As well as things where we're using machine learning and optimization. So, for example, the retail recommendations. Steve mentioned the support of hybrid environments connecting some assets on-premise with the cloud. That's an area of a great focus for us. I mentioned the integration between operations and sales, which I think is a huge step forward. And then I think what you'll see is every 6 months, typically spring and autumn, a lot of new capability across the application. We introduced a Dynamics 365 roadmap website, and I apologize, I don't have the URL. I'm not sure, it won't be live until November 1st. But you'll be able to go there directly to the website at any time and see a forward view of what's coming across the application. We do that today for sales and service. I'm sure it'll be discoverable from the Dynamics web homepage, but that's a great asset to go be able to see at any time what's coming.
Okay. And a question here on evaluating partners. What are some of the factors for customers to consider in selecting a partner to work with on Dynamics 365?
You know, Mike, do you think just up either one? I can give the full scope view of that, or you can give the Microsoft view of that.
Why don't you start there?
Well, from our perspective, I think what's very important is a few things. Number one is the industry expertise. So, of course, we're a company that's very focused, and if someone comes to us and says you're public sector or you're retail or you're professional services, Fullscope has always been a company to just, pass that on to another partner. When it comes to manufacturing and obviously food, chemical, pharma process, we feel we have our people are really good at helping our customers achieve goals there. The next is just commitment of, the latest experience and commitment to the latest technologies. We've spent a lot of time taking our people through all the trainings for AX7, now Dynamics 365. We are both very cloud proficient in both CRM and AX, or CRM and ERP. So I think it's, are you national coverage or are you used to implementing enterprise-type companies with really industry scenarios and be able to bring our expertise to the customer and just everything we've learned, or am I learning for the first time on your dime? So I think those are just a few. I mean, I'm sure there's several more, but those are just a few of the things that we ask our customers to look at when trying to select one partner versus another. And Mike, I'm happy to have you add to it if you'd like.
No, I think a couple of things. One is got to echo the emphasis on industry focus. I have many quality conversations with John about things like catch weight and co-products and byproducts, and I think honestly that is maybe the most important thing, is the ability to have a partner that really understands your business. And then I think the second thing is around the solutions and the ISV extensions that go with AX, Dynamics 365 for operations. We have a whole set of qualifications and tools that we run things through in order to approve them to be in the AppSource marketplace. And so I think, we want the AppSource marketplace to be a great way for customers to find solutions, but also to know that those solutions have, been through a curation process with us. And, I think you heard earlier about the Fullscope solutions being available in AppSource, and I think that's something that you can look to on the aspect of ISV extensions. Is presence in AppSource should also mean to you that they've been through the right process with us.
And if I can just add, is not choosing a partner is not just can you get me live, but we do spend a lot of time on the customer lifecycle. So we, as Steve had mentioned, did a good job mentioning that we have a dedicated team for customers post-go-live support. You don't support a customer the same way during a go-live. It's generally speaking, you have people on site, you have consultants on site, they're there, you can touch them and feel them. And then after you go live, there's kind of after the stabilization period and you get your breath of a go live process, there's a group of very, very big veterans that are there to help you to optimize and get a better return on the product we just went live on. So we take that very seriously, and we work very hard, and it could be BI, it could be a whole bunch of different things, MRP optimization, inventory improvement, so on and so forth. But we have a group that's dedicated to keep you continuously live and using the solution that you just went live with and invested in. Next question.
All right. Well, I think we're actually going to end it there. I know some of the panelists had sort of a hard stop right about now. We did get a lot of other questions that we haven't got to yet. I realize that, and I want to thank everyone in the audience for asking those, submitting them. We will have a copy of those that we'll hold on to, and we'll make sure that our panel does get a look at those and tries to respond to more of them after today's live event. We've also been recording this event. We'll be providing more information soon on how to get access to that. And with that, we're going to start wrapping up. So, Mike,
can I just leave with one thing? And
yeah.
I'd just like to say thank you again for everybody, and please, if there were questions that were not answered, I'll talk for Mike. You can obviously send them to mike.ehrenberg at Microsoft.com, but please, john.skandar at Fullscope.com, steve.reed at Fullscope.com. If there's any questions, please submit them to it. We're happy to help you. If we can't answer them, we'll get them to the right person to help respond to you. So I just want to thank everybody, and please reach out if you would like. Sorry, go ahead.
No, absolutely, and I second that. Thank you to the audience for the questions, as well as to all three of you on the line here for presenting today. We're going to wrap it up there. There's also a quick survey where we really appreciate any feedback you can provide. And at this point, we are going to conclude the event. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, Mike, and have a great weekend.